Welcome back to 3 Inquisitive Kids. In this video, we will be learning about dividing polynomials by monomials. Our course outline for this video is, first we learned about the laws of exponents, and then we learned about the scientific notation, and now we're learning about multiplying and dividing monomials and polynomials. We just have one learning goal for this lesson. It's to understand and master the process of dividing polynomials by monomials. When we're dividing a monomial by a monomial, we know that we need to divide its coefficients, and we divide powers with like bases to cancel things out. And I want you to pause the video and do these 4 practice problems. The answer to the first problem would be 3 times a cubed, b squared, and c. The answer to the second problem is 5a. The answer to the third problem is 8 times the sum of a and b to the 4th power and negative 3ab squared c. If you wanted to really simplify the third answer even more, you could do that. So how would you calculate the sum of ma, mb, and mc divided by m? Because m times a plus b plus c equals ma plus mb plus mc, right now we're dividing, so we're technically doing the reverse operation. So this would give us a plus b plus c, the original polynomial again. Method 2 would be to turn this divided by m into a times 1 over m. So now we're dealing with multiplication. And then we can just apply the distributive property of multiplication to get a plus b plus c. When we're dividing polynomials and monomials, first divide each term separately using the distributive property of multiplication, and then add together the quotients. The trick is to convert dividing a polynomial by a monomial into dividing separate monomials by a monomial. And we can do that by first turning the divisor into its reciprocal, and then we multiply that into the polynomial to get separate monomials. Example 1, compute. Solution 1 is the sum of 9x to the 4th power, negative 15x squared, and 6x divided by 3x. Here we're going to apply the distributive property of multiplication. Here they kind of skip this step, because when you're a beginner, it's easier to first rewrite this divided by 3x into a times 1 over 3x. So now we're dealing with multiplication, and then you can apply the distributive property of multiplication. And then we divide each term separately to get 3x cubed minus 5x plus 2. The solution for problem 2 would be to apply the distributive property of multiplication again, and we're left with negative 4abc minus 1/7 b squared plus 2b. Given a polynomial divided by 2x squared equals 2x squared plus 1, with a remainder of 3x minus 2. Find the value of this polynomial. I want you to pause the video and figure this out. A polynomial divided by 2x squared equals 2x squared plus 1. We all know that the dividend is equal to the divisor times the quotient. Plus the remainder. Sometimes people forget about this. We have our handy dandy little equation over here. Dividend equals divisor times quotient plus remainder. Now we know that 2x squared is our divisor. 2x squared plus 1 is our quotient. The remainder is 3x minus 2. So now, since we already have these 3 major components of the formula or the equation, we can find the dividend, which is the polynomial. And this polynomial would be 4x to the 4th power plus 2x squared plus 3x minus 2. Method summary. Again, this is what I wrote. Dividend equals quotient times divisor plus remainder. First simplify, then plug in the values. Given that x equals 2023 and y equals 2022. First, we have to work our way from inside out. You can see that there are 2 parentheses on the inside of the brackets. So first we have to use the distributive property of multiplication to get rid of those parentheses. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 separate terms inside the brackets. And now we can apply the distributive property of multiplication to divide this divisor. And we're left with x minus y. So now you plug in the values. X equals 2023, y equals 2022. When we subtract that, we get 1. Imagine how hard it would be if you first plugged in the values and then you had to do all that extra calculating when all you really needed to do was to cancel things out and get x minus y to get 1. So that was our lesson for this video, and we learned about dividing polynomials by monomials. And we know we should first divide the term of the polynomial separately by the monomial and then add up the quotients. So we're going to use the distributive property of multiplication to do that. When calculating, each term of the polynomial should include their signs. You shouldn't look at something, for example, minus a, it's a plus negative a. Pay attention to the change of signs when you're dividing. And when the dividend equals the divisor, the quotient is 1. Don't accidentally mistake it for 0. So this is our quick lesson on dividing polynomials by monomials, and I'll see you in the next lesson.